Welcome back. We're in the Neutral Voices studio, and this is Envy in Depth. And tonight, we're going to talk about Black History Month and what does it mean in America today. Now, what's the origin of Black History Month? Does anybody know the origin of where Black History Month started?
So, National Black History Month has its origins as of 1915 with historian and author Dr. Carter Woodson founded the Association for the Study of Negro Life and History. However, it was ratified as Black History Month in 1976 when Gerald Ford was president.
That is so true. But here's what I want to ask. Who celebrates? Who really celebrates? And how is Black History Month celebrated, recognized, or held up? Who does? Who really celebrates Black History? Eric, do you celebrate Black History Month? Let's be honest.
Well, Clarence, at this particular time, no, I don't. Because the simple fact, what for?
What for?
Okay, Mildred.
I feel you.
I
Mildred?
mean, let's be realistic about it.
Realistic.
Really?
Mildred?
I do. I celebrate it. I try to learn about Black history because I want not only my children but my grandchildren to know where they come from. Having lost both of my parents, it's really important to know where we come from. When we become adults, a lot of times we're trying to struggle and kind of find out, who are we? Where do I come from? You know, people go crazy trying to find out who they are. So learning and understanding Black history, because Black history is the beginning. There is no history without Black history. So I think it's really important for our children to know, what happened before.
All right. I got you, E. Let me ask Jill. Jill, and I'm not putting you on the spot, but let's be realistic. You're in America. It's February. Do you or how do you celebrate Black History Month?
Well, I wouldn't say that I celebrate it. And honestly, I'll talk more about this in a little bit, but I don't feel like I've earned the right to celebrate. However,
that's an
I've
interesting perspective.
And again, I'm being brief. Well, I'll touch on it later.
Gotcha.
But no, I don't feel like I celebrate it, and I don't feel like I should.
Go ahead, E. I'm going to let you have this. Go ahead.
You said Black History Month, right?
Black History Month.
Do I celebrate Black? And I said no.
Right.
I said no for a reason.
Let me hear your reason.
Why do I have to celebrate it just in 1 month?
I agree.
True.
But give me some more.
So what's the point of celebrating it in a month when it's a whole lifetime of history that you need to study?
Okay, let me ask. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Ask your question.
How do you celebrate it all year? Like, what would you say is to you like is celebrating Black history?
When I get up in the morning, I look at myself in the mirror.
So
I have to take pride into myself.
Mm-hmm.
So why am I taking pride in 1 month when I can take pride in myself every day?
Mm-hmm.
Let's make it make sense.
Mm-hmm.
Like Mother's Day and Father's Day. I'm a mother every day, and so I understand that. That
Yeah,
makes sense.
but in my perspective, I'm with E. No, I per se do not celebrate Black History Month because it's not just a month. It's not just a day. But the problem is we've compartmentalized it to this month. Now, with every other holiday or every other holiday season, you have some kind of memorabilia or something that you can go and you can buy, you can decorate, you can hang up. Other than educational things, what is there to commemorate Black History Month? Now, I'm going to use this briefly and I'm going to move on. I was talking to some people earlier. The one thing I can give the people of the LBGT and whatever other letters they have community is when it becomes Pride Month, for the month before and the whole month during, they recognize all. They have workshops. They have medical things. They have so much information, but we don't have that for Black History Month. Why don't we have that?
We do have it.
Where do we have it?
We do have it.
Where do
All
we
you
have
gotta
it?
do is pick up a book, first and foremost.
No, I mean in a celebration.
Let me finish what I'm saying. If you celebrate yourself, why do you have to celebrate for 1 month? If you pick up a book, The internet is wide open. So there's a lot of literature and a lot of understanding that you can find about Black history. And why are we calling it Black history when it's just history, period?
Gotcha.
So
Go ahead, Jill.
you mentioned the LGBTQ plus community. Do you think that people who are not part of that community would go and put things together, events, celebrations? No, they would not. If you're talking about Black history and you don't see anything being celebrated, who do you think should put that in place?
We had that conversation. E.
Thank you for bringing me back in on this one. Reason we don't have it because we don't do it.
Exactly.
So if we don't do it, how can we expect for someone else to do
Right.
it? Why do we always have to ask for somebody else to do something for us when we are more than capable of doing it for ourselves?
Right. I mean, do you think white people are gonna throw a Black History party when they're the
Well,
ones
exactly.
the nation was built on white supremacy? So if you want these things to be celebrated,
You gotta
just
do it
like the
yourself.
LGBTQ community, you need to put it together, put it in place.
That's why we're having this conversation, and I'm in agreement with, because E, before we came on air, we were having this conversation. Yes, if we want Black history to be, and this is what I was saying, E, and I understand and I respect your comment about the books, but here's what I'm saying: we don't have the gatherings, the health fairs, the different things,
We'll put it together.
Pause.
Go ahead.
Crystal Perry and Tamra, who both are panelists in Your Mental Health Matters, actually are working right now to gather something for, I think it's in this month, and they have a guest speaker. February, they also kind of attach what is not only Black history, but what happens. So mental health is a huge issue in the Black community. So there's a big event. They've posted it, we've announced it. So I'm really hoping that the Black community comes out in support, because they're talking about sex trafficking and someone coming out of that. That's huge for the month of February, and how that affects our communities. So there might not be a lot of hoopla and pomp and circumstance around certain things, but there are a few leaders here in Fort Wayne who are gathering together to do medical workshops, to do financial workshops. At the Urban League right now, there's a financial workshop going on for the month of February. So you have to search it, but it's out there. Like last night, if people don't talk about it, then we don't know about it.
And see, therein lies the problem. Like we were talking about the LGBT, they make everything known. They advertise. They make it. Why are we so laxed about what we want to do?
Right.
And why? And Jill, I'm agree with you. Why do we think we need somebody else to come in and show us how to celebrate what is supposed to be our month? You don't have to tell me how to be Black.
Right.
Eric
Right.
always tell me I don't act Black, but you don't have to tell me.
never told you that.
I'm just messing
I've
with
never
you.
told you that.
I'm just messing with you. E, lighten up. But we don't need other communities. And E made a point earlier. If we want to, why aren't we putting the signs up? Why aren't we making the merchandise? Why aren't we, perpetuating and pushing Black history? But we don't celebrate it like that. So what is the significance? You know what we do get for Black History Month? We get to watch Roots for the 715th millionth time. Great movie. Love it.
It is.
We get to see the Django. We get to see 12 Years a Slave. We get to see, they even celebrate like the Black filmmakers and show us films like Baby Boy. What does Baby Boy have to do with Black history? You know what I'm saying? But they want to celebrate the Black filmmakers. So this is what we get for Black History Month. But is that truly emphasizing Black history?
But when you say this is what we get, it's not what you want. So as you keep saying, as we've said before, if you want something and you want it celebrated, you go out. If I want my birthday celebrated, I'm going to go out and have a big old party.
True.
Cake,
True that.
balloons, all that stuff. So if you don't even celebrate it, why do you think I'm going to celebrate it?
Well, we're gonna get into why he got something to say, because his ears perked up when you said that. But we're gonna get into why you don't celebrate it, or why you don't see the significance of celebrating, in just a conversation next. But I saw your ears perk up when she said that.
She absolutely correct.
She absolutely correct.
At the end of the day, once again, if we don't stand up and do it, who will? And it's get to the point where we need to get tired of asking somebody else to do something when we are more and capable of doing it.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
With no problems, with no issues, with no nothing. I mean, I'm like you. I'm tired of looking at Chicken George now. You know, and I'm dead serious.
You're right.
And our history is just. I said this earlier, and you walked out. You didn't hear me say this. We have the pen, but we still let somebody else write the story.
Preach, my brother. Preach.
So
I didn't hear that. I gave you an amen on that one.
So at the end of the day, let's snatch the paper, let's snatch the pen, and let's write the story.
Yes.
But we continue to ask someone else to write this story.
Yes.
Why?
Yes. Ms. Mildred?
So you were saying about you didn't want to see all these movies. That's what we get. But think about who owns the networks that are pushing these movies. Are there any in your TV? Do you know of any black owned networks? And if so, what are they pushing?
Well,
you know what I'm saying?
let's talk about Revolt. It's supposed to be black owned.
What is it?
Revolt TV.
Yeah, that's Sean Diddy's supposed to be.
Oprah Winfrey has her whole network. She doesn't.
All she's gonna show is Tyler Perry movies.
Tyler Perry movies. BT is supposed to be black owned, but we know it's not black owned anymore. It's owned by Viacom. But I'm just saying. So there are the outlets, but we still get the same results. But I agree with everybody. It has to come to a point where it's something that we want, that we have to push it. Now, Jill, you hit another point, and we're going to talk about this. In America, why isn't it? Where is Black history in today's society in America 2023? And you said why you don't celebrate it, or why would I expect you to celebrate it if I don't celebrate it? Well, it's getting to the point where Black history is not only going to be not celebrated, it's going to be erased.
Yeah, it's going to be extinct.
It's going to be extinct.
It's
And
already extinct.
It's not because of our doing. The new critical race theory, they're trying to suppress a lot of history that pertains to Black history because of the uprisings in the, going against the government and however they wanted to put it. And they're saying they don't want to teach that, which is a part of it. So they don't want to teach, the civil rights and everything. And they say it's too violent for kids and too emotionally distressing for kids to learn this stuff now.
But they sit and play Call of Duty all day.
I'm telling you what. I'm telling you what's behind the critical.
Let's make it make sense.
And some of our history that occurred happened to children. The killings, and children were involved in a lot of the Black history. Segregation of schools. It was children. So why wouldn't we teach our children what other children did before them, what they can do, the changes and the impacts that they can make? Just like make it make sense.
To answer your question, so first of all, when I said I don't feel like I've earned the right to celebrate Black history, what I mean by that is I feel like I had a conversation with somebody the other day, and they literally said, you know who all these people are. Why isn't there a White History Month? So I replied, professionally, respectfully, of course, I said, White History Month is every single day. White history is the reason, if you want to celebrate white history, in my opinion, if you're white, you do that by acknowledging that the nation was built on white supremacy. You do that by understanding that in school, if the Black child has to learn about white history, the white child should learn about Black history. I'll tell you why. I have learned so much about the culture because of studying, because of history, not in school, what I have done on my own. This here.
This is a dissertation.
This here.
Is a book.
This is all of the rules the slaves couldn't do, who they couldn't look at, all this. This is rules, okay, that Black people had when they were viewed as property.
We still are property.
If you do not understand everything that has happened, I want my white child to learn what happened. I want them to understand
I got you.
what is going on, because the reason they're taking this out of history is to create more division. Create more division. They don't want white people to understand why black people want reparations. They don't want them to dig into the history and see, well, that's awful. I understand that. I would want reparations too. Instead, they just say, get over it. But white people do not know this, because how would they? How would they? I didn't know this existed, and I have 3 college degrees. Nobody taught me that.
Can I get in, please?
Yes, sir.
Can I? You said, not to attack you, Jill,
Oh, go ahead.
but I'm finna ask you a serious and honest question. How often do you take your daughter around black people?
Honestly, I don't really take my daughter around any white people, to be quite honest. I'm just being completely real.
No, but you're missing the question.
Yeah.
You're missing it. It just went over your head. You said you want your daughter to learn what black people couldn't do. How often do you take your child around black people?
Probably about as often as you take your son around white people.
My son go to Homestead.
I mean,
my son go to Homestead, so that's out the. He's consistently
but
around.
also,
So,
you have to look at demographically. I'm from a town that's all white.
But you stay in
so
Fort Wayne. Hold on. You stay in Fort Wayne, and the location where you live is a school not too far from it. But you send your child to a whole nother school in a whole nother county.
Are we going to go to Snyder for Black Show and Tell? I mean, what do you want me to? I'm not going to just like put her in positions because.
But you said you want your child to understand and learn. So the best way to learn and understand, just like you have learned to understand, is to be around us. Am I correct?
Yeah, and I feel like she gets that from me. I feel like I pass that down to her.
Okay.
Well, I got to come and ask you the same question.
My son is consistently around them.
But not because you put him there.
No. Hold on. I'm at my
finish
son,
your point, then I'm going to ask.
Okay,
my
my son is consistently around them. My son is I would say 80% of his time is around them, around white people.
Okay.
Because of his mom.
Right.
I don't stay in the area they stay in. He goes to Homestead. He has a mixture. He came from Wayne High School.
Demographically, he's placed there.
He's placed there. So at the end of the day, yes, we have this conversation with my son. I have this conversation consistently with my son. But at the end of the day, I'm not trying to throw the dagger at you, but it's just the things that you just said. You want them to learn. You want her to learn it. But to learn it, you have to be around it.
And I could bring this question to you, E, just as like you say, you're not, but this is a real man-to-man question, and I have to ask you, your children, how do you push the knowledge to your children? Have you taken your children to the Black History Museum in Washington, D.C., or the Slave Ship Museum up in Detroit? Have you taken your children, and I'm going to let you answer, have you taken your children on a historical Underground Railroad tour? Where they go, you can do in different states, you can follow the historical Underground Railroad tour. And you may, and I'm going to let you answer, but how many of us as a whole are doing it? I'm going to let you answer. Go ahead.
Yes, and no.
Which one?
I haven't done the underground situation. I mean, I haven't done that. But as far as the museum, he's been there. Daughter goes to HBCU.
Right.
He's going on a Black College tour in April. He's going down to the what's the name in Nashville. No, actually they already went to the big museum in Nashville that they just opened up.
Yes.
Been there and done that one. And I consistently push HBCU. I consistently push. I want you to go to a black college.
Yes. I
do that consistently because the simple fact, to understand who you are, you need to be around who you are.
I agree, and that's the problem. And as we're always saying, we want a change and we want something different, but it has to start within us. Mildred, have you taken your children to any of those things?
No, but in Massachusetts there is a site, a mountain where a plane crashed, black pilots. So we've done that because that's where I'm from, on the East Coast. We've done that, but we haven't done other things. They have with their classmates or, school trips, things like that. But I always push my children to learn where they come from, especially because I identify or I grew up in a predominantly Hispanic household, and my children are all Black. So trying to merge the two cultures, because they're two, even though we're the same, we speak different languages.
Right.
So trying to teach them and get them to understand that, yes, I may identify as a Puerto Rican, but I'm Black. You know, so trying to get them to understand that, and they, till this day, they don't consider that.
Well, and here's if we can't depend on the schools
Absolutely not.
to teach our children. We can't depend on. They're hardly teaching them anything right now,
Right.
but we can't depend on them to teach us. You know,
I don't even think they're teaching. I mean, I know we have some great teachers. However, when my two just recently graduated, and we do parent teacher, I know that's tonight, there were teachers assigned to classes that they weren't equipped to teach. You know, so you had a cosmetologist teaching algebra. Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it's kind of hard for our children, especially in our community. Southside is right across the street. You know, for them to get that understanding. So we have other outlets like the Boys and Girls Club. We have across the street City Life, and different programs to get our kids to stay busy.
yeah. But and it's not just to stay busy. We need to
learn.
educate. Now, Jill, have you? I'm gonna let you speak, but have you taken your child or considered taking your child to any of those?
So I was actually going to say something, because listening to you guys speak, I haven't taken my child to any kind of history, and here's why. And maybe I don't know if it's a cultural difference, but I feel like you want your children to know where they came from, right? So they can get a better understanding of who they are. I don't think it's that deep for white people, because we don't talk about history. I don't take her to see monuments, because you know why? There's a school trip to Washington, D.C. to show her all the white history monuments. I don't take her to those places. The school has taught her everything. We don't even discuss where she came from. I'm not going to say it's not important, but it's not anything that has ever came up.
So why are white people screaming for white history?
That's what I'm saying. I mean, we don't. We're not
Well,
even.
I know, but you said you had that
Yep.
conversation earlier.
Yep. I don't even know who my ancestors are. I have no interest in knowing. I mean, I know I came from my mom, and that's about all I want to know.
Wow. Jill, you never cease to amaze. You
I know.
never cease to amaze. But no, as a total, and we're going to be talking about Black History Month this month, but we're going to bring it to you in a different fashion. We're going to talk about different things. You know, our next conversation next Thursday is going to be, it was more than Malcolm and Martin. Because, and that's what because those are the two we know. Malcolm, we know Martin, we know Rosa. Those are who we know that fought they fought the whole civil rights
By
by themselves.
themselves.
If we let it be taught, it's just these three. You know Malcolm,
Absolutely
you know
not.
Martin, and you know Rosa, and they fought. Now they did good things, but those were not the
Right.
only three,
Right.
and it did not start with those three. And that's a problem, because it's not being taught. It's capitalized. It's
put in a
made
box.
momentary.
Yeah.
It's put in a box.
It's put in a box.
And the
You know.
box is so small where it really don't capture the whole moment and the whole movement.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So you have to understand. You got Marcus Garvey. You got Hugh. Man, I could go on.
You can go on.
But
And we're
they-
going to.
But they
We're
won't.
going
They
to.
won't talk about those guys because they was radical.
Yeah, but you know what the Black History, the talk of the Black History now. Do y'all know what the talk of the Black History now is?
Obama.
No,
What is it?
we got 2 black quarterbacks that's going to start the Super
Super
Bowl.
Bowl.
Oh, wow.
That is Black history right there. Let's celebrate. We got 2 black quarterbacks starting in the Super Bowl.
And you know something? It literally have got to the point where I really don't watch sports anymore. Because of certain things that's said. I mean, I watch it, but I'm not like I used to be super deep engulfed in it. And now that I'll sit back and realize, it's like, you know something? We ain't nothing but entertainment.
Man.
That's all we are looked up
Passive.
as. Entertainment.
Yeah.
Keep everybody
Pacified.
happy, and that's crazy.
Yeah, yeah. But and as our discussion went along, and if you're just joining us, we've been talking about, is Black history relevant in America today? Who celebrates Black history, and where the origin of Black history? These are some of the things. And if you have watched this, go back, and if you missed anything, if you're just joining us, please go back and watch this video and understand, so you can get a better understanding of our conversation and hear what we talked about. But Black history is important. I don't want to minimize that. I don't want to leave people wondering, are thinking that we're saying Black history is not important. That is not the point of our conversation.
The point of our conversation, I think, is the month
It's the month.
important.
Is the month important? And what is the significance of just a month?
Right.
You know? Go
So,
ahead, Ms. Mildred.
Thinking about the importance of Black History Month, because, like you said, they're putting our history in a box.
28
I
days.
feel 28 days.
28 days. of a
28,
box.
not even a
The
whole
shortest
year.
month of the month.
month.
Shortest
Yep.
month of the year.
Yep.
So they pacify us as they pacify us here with a Taco Bell or Starbucks. But I feel that Black History Month is important to honor the contributions
Yes.
Yes,
of
exactly.
how this country was established.
Yes.
And a lot of people think everything was done, I'm sorry, I love you,
By white people.
but it wasn't.
Right. It definitely wasn't.
Little things, like just recently I was watching a documentary of the person who invented what we're sitting on, a counter, a store counter. It was invented by a Black person, yet the name on the patent, the name on the inventor is a white person, because it was in a time of slavery. It was in a time that, like E says, we're still considered property. But at that time, they couldn't apply, they couldn't vote, they couldn't do anything. So the month is important because we don't want it washed away.
right.
Yeah, we're
Right.
going
You
to
know
give
what
you that.
I'm
We're going to
saying?
give you that. And I'm glad you mentioned the inventors. I think, Jill, your show Tuesday, we're going to talk about, no, are we going to talk about the inventors? Yes, I think Tuesday we may be speaking
We
about
may be.
the
All right.
Black
We may
inventors. So it's a many things that, Black inventions and things that, and you're right, Mildred, that they weren't able to give credit to. But again, we want to thank you for joining us and staying with us. And we want to thank you. And if you're looking around seeing our new set, we did a little sprucing up. That's why we were in the lobby for a while. And we got some more things coming for our viewers in the months to come. We introduced a new
sound
show last
amazing.
night. We sound amazing. We
Look
introduced a new
amazing.
show last night. And we got a few more new shows coming. But it feels good to be on the set. And again,
It does.
Black history, it is important. The month is important. But let's do more
Yes.
than watch movies and talk about three people. Let's make it something educational, festive. If we want it, we have to do it. We can't wait for anybody else to do it, and we can't want for anybody else to do it.
Right.
Because if we continue, we're still waiting for 40 acres and a mule. I mean, we're still waiting for equal rights. We're still waiting for so much. So if we're still waiting for somebody to come and change our situation, when we sit there day by day and watch time passes by and we don't take control of it or we don't do it, it's going to be the same thing. So if we really want Black History Month to be something, next year, I'm with you. Let's put together a health fair. Let's put together something.
You know,
that we can do.
Parade.
No,
We can't do a parade. It's
no,
cold.
no. Forget all the
cold,
partying.
too.
I mean, honestly, forget the partying. What you just said, health. Let's turn it Black History Month into Black Health Month,
That's a great idea.
because a lot of us don't take care, or don't even know how to take care of our health mentally, physically, or emotionally.
There we go. And we could be here all night, but we can't hold the people hostage behind the camera. So we're gonna get out of here, and again, we're gonna thank you once again. But E, before we leave every night, what do we tell the people?
Always protect your mind.
We want to thank you and have a good night.